Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mac here from Cryptstar, staking your #1 bakery on the Tezos blockchain and the #1 validator on the Azero blockchain. #1 in both chains. And in today's video, actually, I want to do a sort of 10-minute talk about Azero versus Tezos. There are pluses and minuses to both, and as you guys know, I'm a big fan of both blockchains. In this kind of video today, I want to, if I can, we need to talk about certain things like leadership and things like that, really kind of, I think, basic parts of the blockchain. And then we're also going to dive deeper into sort of the more technological aspects of the blockchain. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty deep into both of them. I've been running a validator or a baker on Tezos for like 4 years now. Yeah. So, and we actually moved from Tezos Japan. We were running the Tezos Japan bakery, and then we started Cryptstar staking bakery. So, yeah, we've been doing this for a very long time, and we've kind of seen what's going on in the ecosystem for a very long time. And honestly, the blockchain itself, it's great, right? I think it's very lightweight, and there's a lot of things going for it. Oh, anyways, before we get too deep into this, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe, hit that notifications bell. You know what the deal is, guys. Also, follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. Alright, guys, so yes, Tezos, it's been around for a really long time, and there was a lot of drama going on in the past, and I guess sometimes it's tough to get over that really old drama. And also there's been a lot of like I said, overspending by the foundation, and they don't seem like they're remorseful about it. So in my opinion, it's like, if they're not going to admit that they did something wrong, then there's no guarantee that there's going to be change in the future. And I've been talking about this for a year now, and a lot of people call me like you're fudding and all this stuff. But it's like, you guys, come on. Like, I'm just stating the facts and where I'm putting a lot of my investment, and why I would love for things to change, because I love Tezos as a blockchain. And like I said, it's lightweight. You can run it on a Raspberry Pi. There's no way you could do that with the Aleph Zero, at least right now. And Tezos is also very decentralized. Anybody can start a baker with 6,000 Tez, I think it is now. And with Aleph Zero, you need 25,000 Azero in order to start your own validator node. So quite a big difference in the two projects on all respects. So it's very hard to compare them on a very fair level. So basically, in my opinion, I try and compare it to sort of what I believe the needs of the people are, and what blockchain can solve, right? So the issue is with, I think, the Arthur and his idea for Tezos is that they want to go ahead and create a layer 2 scalable solution on top of a blockchain. And with Aleph Zero, Anthony Zolciak, he's mentioned before in the past, and the Solana as well, they mentioned the same thing. You can actually, in the future, the CPU power, the GPU power of servers is going up exponentially. It doubles almost every year. So why would you need to scale up and use a layer 2 solution? Why don't you just have your validators, invest in a solution that has, 16 cores CPU right now? It might cost you a bit more, but in the future, all of our iPhones are going to have 16 cores. You can buy a Rock Pi 5, and I think it has 8 cores right now, an 8-core CPU. Now, it's a low-quality CPU compared to like a server CPU, but you get what I'm saying here. Scaling up right now will prevent you from having to scale out in the future, which will actually increase decentralization, in my personal opinion. And I come from a hardware background, not from a programming background. And I think Arthur, he comes from a programming background, and I think Anthony, he comes from a very, very diverse background. I think he's a full stack engineer, so he has a really diverse background. And another big thing about Aleph Zero and the difference between Aleph Zero and Tezos is you have Anthony coming out and doing a lot of different AMAs on Twitter. He's getting involved in different projects. He's very involved in both Darkiverse as well as the CommonFi, which would be the equivalent of Arthur getting involved in, say, Tezotopia, or Arthur getting involved, a little bit more involved in Madfish's work, and kind of seeing what's going on there, and helping the teams collaborate a bit more and work together to create a really well entwined ecosystem, which is something that Tezos has always had an issue with. There's always been dApps that don't quite, meet the same NFT standards as other dApps, so that you just can't import them correctly. And that's always been an issue with Tezos. They did create an NFT standard, and they've actually changed it a few times. But this they really need this really centralized leadership in a way, and especially when a blockchain is first getting started, in order to make sure that everything is working properly. And it needs for the stakers, people like me, you need to kind of address their needs, because I'm a validator on Azero. I have a huge stake in the Azero ecosystem and in the Tezos ecosystem. I want to see it do it well because I want my portfolio to go up. I want my baker to make more Tezos, and Aleph Zero just provides the opportunity, whereas Tezos, as of right now, is not providing that opportunity. And that's why I've been vocal about it, about the scaling up versus scaling out. Scaling out, creating layer 2s is all great. You can copy Ethereum if you want to, but I personally don't think that scaling out, creating layer 2 solutions is even there's no point to it if you think about it from an infrastructure level. Now, Aleph Zero also is including the privacy layer on its layer 1, and I think, well, I'm sorry, I'm not sure which one it is, honestly. They might be creating some sort of layer 2 on top of that to add privacy, but I believe it's being built into the layer 1 itself, so that way you can send private transactions. It's called the liminal layer. So I've been trying to dive deep into this, and I'm not a developer. I don't know how to read a lot of the stuff that's going on in their white paper. It's very difficult to understand, and I've been asking questions, and hopefully as I get deeper into this, I'll understand more. But as I understand it right now, Aleph Zero is focusing on privacy first, which will allow institutions to build on Aleph Zero and build their banking institution on top of Aleph Zero, so that you can have privacy within certain sectors, and then the actual open blockchain can be slightly transparent but have other privacy features as well, or privacy can at least be enabled if the user wants it to. Now with Tezos, with privacy, they had the ZK pools, and that just never got any push through. I think some dev did create like an indie project, and I'm trying to remember what it was called, Cosmopolitan or something. It was like a cosmic galaxy. Sorry, I don't remember the name exactly, but I think it had, at one point in time, it had like maybe 200, 300k USD worth of liquidity, but then that was just an indie project and it never really got any funding, so it never really got a foothold. Whereas I believe these kind of projects, if they did launch on Aleph Zero, the core team would get involved and try and jump in and help them out and make sure that they don't lose all of that work that put into the indie project. And I think that's a big difference between Tezos and Aleph Zero. And I'm really hoping that, the Tezos Foundation and Arthur can actually start using the funds, using their money a bit better, and then kind of help the community grow and keep a lot of that talent that we've created in the Tezos community, because we have so much talent out there. You have Code Crafting, who I believe he just got let go from Emergence because Emergence just shut down. If we lose him, he's one of our best devs. Don't want to lose him, okay? And there are many other devs. I think it was Cryptonomic, was that right? I think they did Galleon Wall and a bunch of other stuff. And I don't know what's going to happen to them, but what if they disappear, right? That's a really big talent. A lot of people who have learned Michelson, which is kind of like, why would you learn Michelson? Aleph Zero is focusing on Rust, which is a worldwide famous language. Elon Musk's favorite language. So you're going to have a lot of devs trying to learn Rust, and the smart contracts in 4.0, which is on Azero, is built on Rust. Now, Tezos does have a layer 2 I think it's going to incorporate Python and Rust, and you can build it in different languages. But the fact of the matter is the core code is in Michelson, which means only one team really right now can upgrade the core development, which means whoever controls the funding for that one team controls basically the whole direction of where Tezos is going. And that's the Tezos Foundation and Arthur controlling Nomadic Labs and Marigold and all these Chili Tech, and they're choosing where they're going without talking to the community and asking, I think, what the community needs. And it's developers trying to choose what the end customer needs, as opposed to the end customer letting the developers know what we want and what we would like to see. And I think this kind of communication is lacking, and that's why I've kind of really jumped deeper into Aleph Zero, and I'm also looking at other blockchains to see what they have to offer, and I'm hopefully going to do more videos on those blockchains in the future. But that's, I guess, the biggest difference between the two, in my opinion. Tezos has 15-second block finality. Aleph Zero has instantaneous block finality. But, for example, when you send Tezos to Kucoin, it takes about 30 seconds. If you send Aleph Zero to Kucoin, they require more confirmations. So it actually takes about 2 or 3 minutes to go ahead and get sent to Kucoin. Whereas if you send Aleph Zero to Mexc Global, the exchange, then actually it takes about it's instantaneous. Whereas Tezos takes about 30 seconds to a minute to go and arrive at Mexc. So it really depends on the exchange for Aleph Zero, whereas Tezos is pretty standardized. It is very much an OG blockchain, so it's very standardized on all the different exchanges. Like I said, Tezos has a really small footprint. For example, the validator node, I think it takes between 60 and 150 gigabytes. So I haven't checked recently, but it's very small. And whereas Aleph Zero, I think it's like at probably like 500 or 600 gigabytes right now, and it's a lot younger, so it's probably going to get a lot bigger. Aleph Zero, because it's built in Rust, it automatically had garbage collection, which is one thing I was looking for Tezos for a very, very long time. And I believe they finally, the core devs did finally put that in. It was built on the Rust version of the Tezos node, the TezEdge node, but of course that got shut down because of lack of funding, yet again. So, I mean, this all kind of comes in a big circle for me. Tezos would be great. It's something you can run on a Raspberry Pi. Anybody can do it. It's $6,000 entry to become a baker. Another issue with Tezos is that there's a 10 times bond limit. So, for example, if I have 30,000 Tez, I can only get up to about $280,000, $300,000 staked to me. And sorry, this is all approximate numbers, okay? It's not exact. My math isn't perfect, okay, guys? This is very much this is very approximate numbers, just so you guys can get the general idea. So, if you guys want to comment, troll me in the comments about my math, that's fine. But yeah, with Azero, there's no maximum amount. So, if I want to run my YouTube channel and I want to get people to delegate to my validator so I can make income from my YouTube in a decentralized fashion, I can do that. I can put in my 30K and I can get 2 or 3 million Azero staked to me, and I get 5% of the 11%. Of that. So that's about, I think, about $10 million on the top of my head. So if I make $10 million, I think I did the math, I could make like $50K a year or something if at the current prices. Now, this is all, like I said, not exact math. But, for example, with Tezos, the max I'm ever going to make is about, if my fee is 10%, I'm going to be making 10% of 10% of basically $300,000 if I have 30K Tez, which is a lot less than, the $10 million or 10 million Azero I can have delegated to me. So I think as a small project, if you're running a validator node, and I think that's what all small projects should do on a blockchain, is run a validator node for the blockchain, then you can actually definitely have a lot more potential and a lot more earning potential and gain a lot more community members through running the validator node in Aleph Zero than you can on Tezos. So in the future, I'd love to see Tezos, have a protocol upgrade where they increase it to 20x or 25x, because as of right now, there's no way for any baker to get bigger than the Tezos Foundation bakers. They're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Whereas with Aleph Zero, the people can finally slowly take their delegate away from the foundation validators and go to community validators, and then the community can actually have a larger stake over time. And I think this is a much better growth potential. Now, in the future, there might be an issue where this gets centralized, but this is not an issue yet. This is people on Tezos, they thought about this way too much. They thought way too far in advance, and they didn't think about, I think, the immediate now. And plus, they didn't have the experience of past blockchains, whereas Aleph Zero has the experience of all the previous blockchains to go ahead and pull from and make these great tokenomics decisions. Now, another thing about Tezos is that you have on-chain governance, but that's one, it's centralized because the Tezos Foundation and a lot of the tokens are on the exchanges like Binance and Coinbase. So there's a very centralized issue here, and it's hard to get all the bakers to go and come together to vote on stuff. And another issue is there's usually only one or two choices when it comes to going ahead and submitting a proposal, and the proposals, I believe they have to be done in Michelson, which is a proprietary language that Arthur Brightman created, and not many people know it. So you have to kind of try and follow a tutorial and follow their strict their strict variables that they have set in the tutorials, or learn Michelson if you want to create a whole new sort of proposal for yourself. So hopefully in the future, people will start doing more proposals and learn how to go ahead and make them. But for right now, it's a lot of work. And on Aleph Zero, it's much easier just to contact the core dev team, and they're going to implement some sort of on-chain governance, I think, in the future, some sort of ticketing at least, so they can get a vote from people and see what they want. They're much more apparent about their desire for decentralization and communication with the community than the Tezos Foundation is. So, like I said, the money controls the blockchain. The Tezos Foundation, they're controlling Nomadic Labs, they're controlling Marigold, and that's all pretty much controlled by Arthur Brightman. Now, on the other hand, you have Anthony. He works at the he works for the foundation over at Aleph Zero. He works with the Aleph Zero sort of core governance, the core team, and he actually talks to all the different community members around the world. And he actually travels around the world to go to different conferences to talk about Aleph Zero, which I think is very, very bullish for me for Aleph Zero. He actually had a Twitter meeting last week, and I was able to speak there, which was really cool as a community member. That really makes me bullish on the project. It makes me really happy that they listen to the feedback from the community. So, yeah, that's basically my 2 cents, guys. I'm going to stick around with Tezos for the time being. I do love it, and I do love the people that I've met there. It's like a family to me. So, yep, thank you guys. And I really appreciate all the support you guys have had for the channel over the past couple of years. And we're going to keep baking hard, and we'll keep validating hard for Aleph Zero. So, thank you guys for viewing, and have an awesome day. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.
Bro, we need to pump it. Everybody, go to Twitter and hashtag the things. Pump it. You know, pump it real good. We need a good pump. Everybody deserves a nice Tezos pump.